Hello student, today we are going to discuss about pathology. Pathology, it is the study of diseases. Study of diseases. So pathology include different types of branches like clinical pathology, histopathology, hematopathology, but competitive angle. For the competitive purpose, we have to concentrate on different types of diseases like bacterial diseases, viral diseases, fungal diseases, protozoal diseases, and helminthic diseases. Before going to discuss about the types of diseases, once we have to concentrate on what is a disease. What is a disease? Disease, it is any change in the state of health that cause discomfort or disability is known as a disease. Here, what is health? Health means it is a complete state of mental, social or physical well-being without mere any absence of disease or any absence of physical fitness, right? So here health may be affected by or health may affect by different factors, namely lifestyle, next to genetic disorders, and third one, infections. Lifestyle, so intake of food or type of consumption of water, like contaminated water, contaminated food may affect the health, and genetic disorders. So the inheritance of diseases from parents to offspring. Causes different types of diseases. And finally, infections. Infections include infections either by bacterial infections or by viral infections or by fungal infections, etc. Right? So generally, infections or diseases. Diseases are caused by pathogens. Diseases are caused by pathogens. Pathogens are disease causing agents. Pathogens are disease causing agents. Here, for example, malaria. It is a disease which is caused by Plasmodium vivax. That means here Plasmodium vivax is the disease causing agent, namely pathogen. So, and here study of disease known as pathology, no doubt. And the study of distribution of a disease or nature of spreading of a disease is known as epidemiology. Epidemiology is the study of distribution of a disease or spreading of a disease. Okay, and John Snow was father of modern epidemiology. And here diseases are sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. For example, gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, human papilloma virus means causes that is cervical cancer, cervical cancer, or genital warts, genital warts, or cervical cancer caused by human papilloma virus. Human papilloma virus causes cervical cancer or genital warts. And here this human papilloma virus causes genital warts or cervical cancer. It can be measured by a test or confined by a test, namely pap smear test. Pap smear test. Pap smear test. It is a cervical cancer confirmational test. Cervical cancer confirmational test is known as pap smear test, right? And HIV/AIDS, HIV/AIDS. Next to hepatitis B, hepatitis B. These are sexually transmitted diseases. And the diseases which are transmitted from one person to another person through sexual contact. Through sexual contact. Example: gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes disease, human papilloma virus causes cervical cancer. That means cervical cancer or genital warts also sexually transmitted category. And final last two, HIV/AIDS, hepatitis B, also sexually transmitted diseases. And some diseases are transmitted from one person to another person. Some diseases are transmitted from one person to another person are called communicable diseases. Communicable diseases are infectious diseases. These are caused by pathogens. The diseases which are transmitted from one person to another person are called communicable diseases or infectious diseases. Communicable diseases or infectious diseases. For example, malaria caused by Plasmodium vivax. Plasmodium vivax. Next to ringworm. It is a fungal disease. Ringworm, it is a fungal disease caused by fungal organisms. Fungal organisms like microsporum, trichophyton, epidermophyton. Three genera causes ringworm. Next, filariasis or elephantiasis. Filariasis or elephantiasis caused by Wuchereria bancrofti. Next to typhoid caused by Salmonella typhi, etc. are called or considered as communicable diseases or infectious diseases. But some diseases are not transmitted from one person to another person are called non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are non-infectious diseases. For example, genetical disorders or kidney problems, heart problems, considered as non-communicable diseases, not transmitted from one person to another person. Okay, and are not caused by pathogens. So next to type of diseases. Some diseases are confined to the tropical regions only, or tropical areas, are considered as tropical diseases. Diseases. For example, amoebiasis, malaria, dengue, leishmaniasis, etc. are considered as tropical diseases. What are tropical diseases? Which are diseases which are confined to the tropical areas. Tropical areas means hot areas, hot climatical conditions. Hot climatical conditions. The diseases which are present or which are confined to hot climatical conditions are called tropical diseases. For example, amoebiasis, malaria, dengue, leishmaniasis are called tropical diseases. What are the hot climatical conditions, or what are the tropical regions? India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. These are the tropical countries. So diseases which are present in tropical areas, tropical diseases. Some diseases are nutritional deficiency disorder. Some diseases are called nutritional deficiency diseases. Nutritional deficiency diseases. For example, kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor, it is a protein deficiency disease. Protein deficiency disease, it is in African language. This one is considered as a displaced child. Kwashiorkor is also known as a displaced child. So kwashiorkor, due to the deficiency of proteins deficit leads to, or proteins deficiency leads to kwashiorkor. And second nutritional deficiency disease, that is marasmus, proteins and calories deficiency disease. Proteins and calories deficiency disease. As we already discussed it, diseases are caused by pathogens, but diseases are spread by vectors. Vectors are the organisms which transfers the infective stages of a pathogen from one person to another person, or one host to another host. Usually vectors are the insects. For example, houseflies, cockroaches, mosquitoes are the vectors. For example, houseflies are mainly disease causing houseflies are CC flies or CC fly. Next to rat flea or rat fly. Next to sand flea or sand fly. CC fly spreads African sleeping sickness or African sleeping sickness. So African sleeping sickness is caused by Trypanosoma gambiense. This is a pathogen. Trypanosoma gambiense is the pathogen, and CC fly, it is a vector. What is meant by vector? Vector, it is a disease spreading organism, or diseases are spread by organisms are called vectors. Vectors are usually insects. Insects are the vectors. So for example, houseflies, cockroaches and mosquitoes are the vectors. Houseflies, types of CC flies, rat flea or sand flea. Scientific name Glossina palpolis or Glossina palpolis, the scientific name of CC fly. It causes African sleeping sickness. African sleeping sickness is caused by Trypanosoma gambiense. For this Trypanosoma, and here Trypanosoma gambiense, why it is called sleeping sickness, we will discuss it later on. So next to plague. Plague is spread by plague disease, it is spread by rat flea or rat fleas. Scientific name Xenophila chyopis. Xenophila chyopis is the scientific name of rat flea. It is ectoparasite on rats. Ectoparasite on rats. But plague, it is bacterial disease, and this plague is caused by Yersinia pestis. Yersinia pestis, it is endoparasite in the gut of rat, and rat flea, it is ectoparasite on rats. So sand flea or sand flies spreads two types of diseases, namely Kala Azar, dum-dum fever. Kala Azar, dum-dum fever spread by sand fleas. Next to Delhi boils also spread by sand flies or sand fleas. But here Kala Azar or dum-dum fever, it is caused by Leishmania donovani. Leishmania donovani is the pathogen, disease causing agent, but Kala Azar or dum-dum fever, it is spread by sand fleas or sand flies, right? And Delhi boils also called Tashkent ulcer or oriental sores, Tashkent ulcer or oriental sores caused by Leishmania tropica, that is the pathogen, or that is a protozoal parasite. Leishmania tropica, it is a protozoal parasite, but spread by sand fleas. Nothing but here vectors or the organisms, usually insects, which spreads the diseases from one person to another person. And cockroaches. Cockroaches are another type of insects, belongs to phylum Arthropoda, act as vectors, or cockroaches act as vectors. And cockroaches spread mainly amoebiasis disease, which is the tropical disease, and this amoebiasis is caused by Entamoeba histolytica, which is a protozoan parasite. Entamoeba histolytica is the pathogen, and cockroaches are the vectors for amoebiasis. And additional to the cockroaches, houseflies also act as vectors for amoebiasis disease. And mosquitoes. So here mosquitoes, disease spreading mosquitoes, mainly three types: female anopheles mosquitoes, anopheles mosquitoes. Next to female culex mosquitoes, and Aedes, female Aedes aegypti mosquito, female Aedes mosquitoes. Female anopheles mosquito, it is the important vector. It is the important vector which spreads malaria. That means malaria, it is a protozoal disease. It is a protozoal disease caused by Plasmodium vivax, that is the pathogen. But malaria is spread by female anopheles mosquito. And female culex mosquito, spreads filariasis or elephantiasis. Filariasis or elephantiasis, it is caused by Wuchereria bancrofti, but filariasis or elephantiasis spread by female culex mosquito. And one more disease, that is encephalitis. For encephalitis, female culex mosquito is also vector. Next, third one, female Aedes aegypti mosquito or Aedes aegypti mosquitoes spreads chikungunya, dengue, Zika, yellow fever. These diseases are spread by female Aedes mosquito. One of the important characteristic feature of female Aedes mosquito is biting, or that bites during daytime only, and it spreads chikungunya, dengue, Zika, and yellow fever. I means these are the different types of vectors, and these vectors spreads different types of diseases. For example, question is like this: which one of the following disease is not spread by Aedes mosquito, female Aedes mosquito? Options are: first Zika, second option dengue, dengue, third option plague, and fourth option chikungunya. Here Zika, dengue, chikungunya. These three diseases are spread by Aedes female Aedes mosquito. This female Aedes aegypti mosquito characteristic feature is biting during daytime. Daytime bite is the characteristic feature of female Aedes mosquito. And Zika, dengue, chikungunya. These three are viral diseases. But plague, it is a bacterial disease. One more important point means Zika, also known as it is microcephalic disease, particularly in Latin America. Young ones means infants or young ones or young babies with small head. The condition is known as Zika, also known as microcephalic condition or microcephalic disease. Dengue also known as, this dengue disease also considered as breakbone fever. And finally, chikungunya. Severe joint pains is the main important characteristic feature of chikungunya. But first option, second option, and fourth options. I mean, these diseases are viral diseases spread by female Aedes aegypti mosquito. But plague, it is a bacterial disease and it is spread by ant flea, that is rat flea. Scientific name Xenophila chyopis. Xenophila chyopis is the rat flea scientific name, and plague is caused by no doubt, and that is bacterial disease. Plague is caused by Yersinia pestis bacteria, but it is spread by Xenophila chyopis, that is rat flea. Diseases are mainly classified into 5 types, namely bacterial diseases, viral diseases, fungal diseases, protozoal diseases, and helminthic diseases. So, bacterial diseases include typhoid, cholera, plague, pneumonia, tuberculosis or TB, leprosy, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, meningitis, anthrax are the important bacterial diseases. And viral diseases include chickenpox, smallpox, measles, mumps, dengue, chikungunya, Zika, swine flu, bird flu, Ebola, important viral diseases. And fungal diseases include ringworm, athlete foot, or also called athlete foot. Athlete foot also one of the dangerous fungal diseases. Madura foot, and last one Dobie itch. Protozoal diseases include malaria, amoebiasis, kala azar, or dum-dum fever, also called visceral leishmaniasis. Last fourth important protozoan disease, Delhi boils or Tashkent ulcer or oriental sores. Helminthic diseases include teniasis, ascariasis, filariasis, enterobiasis. Teniasis, this is flatty helminthic disease. And remaining three diseases are nematodal diseases or nemati-helminthic diseases, togetherly called helminthic diseases. So, compulsory you have to concentrate all these diseases which are very important for examination point of view. Compulsory all the diseases are very important. Which one of the disease is bacterial, which one of the disease is viral disease, or which one is fungal disease, very important. Compulsory try to keep in your mind because in the previous examinations, in previous competitive examinations, question is like this: which one of the following disease is not a bacterial disease? Not a bacterial disease. Which one of the following diseases? Which one of the following disease is not a bacterial disease? Like these questions are like this: which one of the following disease is not a bacterial disease? Which one of the following disease is a viral disease or not viral disease? Like that. Means, for example, options are cholera, pneumonia, plague, cholera, pneumonia, plague, dengue, and tuberculosis. In this question, except to dengue, remaining 3 diseases are bacterial diseases. That's why compulsory, what are the viral diseases? You have to buy compulsory, what are the viral diseases, what are the bacterial diseases, what are the fungal diseases. This is important to diseases list, and one by one we have to discuss clearly. Let's see. So, in any disease, we have to concentrate on 3 important steps, namely which pathogen or what is the causative organism name or bacteria name. Bacteria, what is the bacteria which is or what is the typhoidal bacteria, and next to what are the symptoms and special characters and mode of infection. So, majorly 3 are the important steps: causative organism or microorganism name, symptoms, mode of infection, any special character on any specialty related to conformational test or other important steps. Bacterial disease, that is typhoid, caused by Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi bacterium or Salmonella paratyphi bacterium causes typhoid disease. So, it is intestinal parasite. So, or intestinal bacteria, that means it is present in the small intestine of man and migrates to other parts of the body through blood circulation. One of the dangerous parasitic or pathogens, intestinal parasite, present in the small intestine of man and migrates to different parts of the body through blood circulation. And mode of infection. Mode of infection is through contaminated food and water. Typhoid, it is by the contamination of food and water. And this typhoid disease is confined by a test, namely Widal test. Widal test is the typhoid conformational test, very important for examination point of view. Widal test, typhoid conformational test. So, what are the symptoms in typhoid disease? So, we have to concentrate. Headache, 104 degree Fahrenheit temperature or 39 to 41 degree Celsius temperature. Important characteristic feature, headache, 104 degree Fahrenheit temperature. Intestinal perforations, intestinal perforations means holes on small intestine in severe cases. Loss of appetite, so means loss of hungry. Next to giddiness and unsteady condition, giddiness. Fever condition is an important characteristic feature in typhoid disease, related to some important points about typhoid disease. Next bacterial disease, cholera, caused by Vibrio cholera bacteria, and for this cholera disease, tetracycline antibiotic effective in treatment. This tetracycline was discovered by Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao. Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao, also known as Wonder Man of Miracle Drug. Yellapragada Subbarao, generally often considered as Wonder Man of Miracle Drug. So means tetracycline means also this tetracycline, it is also used in treatment of plague disease, and tetracycline is famous antibiotic by Dr. Ellapragada Subbarao. So, wonder man of miracle drug. So, what are the symptoms? Symptoms in cholera: diarrhea, vomitings. Diarrhea, vomitings are the major symptoms in cholera, and other symptoms include nausea, fever, chills are the other characteristic features. And cholera, this cholera related institute, the cholera research institute or institute of cholera and enteric diseases, located at Kolkata. In research institute of cholera and enteric diseases, located at Kolkata. Next bacterial disease, plague, caused by a bacterium namely Yersinia pestis. Yersinia pestis. And plague is spread by a flea, that is a rat flea or rat fly, namely, I mean scientific name is Xenophila chiopis. Xenophila chiopis, rat flea scientific name. Rat flea act as vector for plague disease, and plague is caused by a bacterium namely Yersinia pestis. And here plague, this plague disease, the dangerous disease in the 17th, 16th and 17th, in 17th and 16th centuries, which killed millions of people. That's why this disease, in this treating of this disease, we are using antibiotic namely tetracycline. And plague disease is also known as Black Death disease. Black Death disease, very important examination point of view. Black Death disease, plague is also known as Black Death disease, because this plague is associated with the swollen lymph nodes. Lymph nodes become swollen, and fever, nausea or diarrhea or vomiting sense is also there in characteristic features of plague. After swollen phenomena, after completion of the swollen phenomena in the lymph nodes, there are black spots and with depressions, hence it is called Black Death disease. Next bacterial disease, that is pneumonia, caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae. And pneumonia, it is spread by contamination of aerosols or droplets from infected person. Contamination of aerosols or droplets from infected person. That means it is airborne disease, no doubt. And this pneumonia characters or symptoms include alveoli are filled with fluid. Alveoli are filled with fluid or water, hence difficulty in breathing. What are alveoli? Alveoli are the structural and functional units of the lung or lungs, where exchange of gases takes place. Nothing but oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place in the alveoli of lungs. So here alveoli are completely filled with water. In severe cases, in severe pneumonic patients, nails, fingernails or fingertips may turn to grey to bluish. That is in severe cases or in severe pathological condition. And this pneumonia may also spread from one person to another person, even by sharing of utensils from infected person. Next bacterial disease, tuberculosis, or abbreviatedly TB, also known as silent killer. This disease is also called or also known as silent killer. So particularly in the world, majority of the TB cases are appeared in West Africa and in India. India also one of the leading countries in TB patients. So TB or tuberculosis caused by a bacterium, namely Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So it mainly affects the lungs, but not only lungs. This Mycobacterium tuberculosis also inhabits to the intestinal region, where it is called or where it is considered as intestinal TB. Not only lungs, it also affects the intestinal region, where it is considered as intestinal TB. And TB, for the confirmation of TB, there is a test, namely Montex test. Montex test, that is a TB confirmational test. And for the treatment of TB, DOTS test. In severe cases, generally the treatment to directly observation test, and particularly in the rural area, it is also airborne disease, no doubt, particularly in rural areas. There are mainly 3 types of confirmational tests for TB analysis. One is a sputum test or thick mucus test, or second one blood test, and third one that is X-ray, chest X-ray. Through chest X-ray also we can confirm tuberculosis. And in treatment, DOTS test, the directly observable treatment test or shortcut test. Tuberculosis research center. Our research center for tuberculosis is located at Chennai. Tuberculosis Research Institute. Tuberculosis Research Institute is located at Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Next bacterial disease, leprosy, caused by Mycobacterium leprosy. Main characteristic feature of this bacterial disease is damage of the tissue or degeneration of the tissue. Affected organ damage is the characteristic feature of this disease, and accumulated by where after damage of the affected organ or tissue, block spot, the another characteristic feature of the leprosy. Okay, leprosy related center, research training, leprosy training and research center is located at Chengalpattu, Tamil Nadu. Leprosy research and training center is located. Leprosy research and training center is located at Chengalpattu, that is Tamil Nadu. So leprosy treatment. In the treatment of leprosy, we are using a method that is known as MDT method, multi-drug therapy. Important important question for the examination point of view. Multi-drug therapy, that is a treatment for leprosy. Next bacterial disease, diphtheria, caused by Corynebacterium diphtheriae. And main important characteristic feature of this disease is effect of the respiratory tract. Respiratory tract is affected. Inflammation in the respiratory tract, difficulty in breathing and difficulty of swallowing of food materials. And diphtheria, this diphtheria disease, it is a contagious disease, and by the contact. What is contagious disease, or what is the difference between contagious and communicable or infectious disease? Means contagious disease, it is the disease which can spread by contact, but communicable disease or infectious disease transmitted from one person to another person, and which are caused by pathogens. Okay. So diphtheria, it is a contagious disease, no doubt. When smallpox, chickenpox, leprosy is also contagious disease. So we will discuss finally we will discuss clearly what are the contagious diseases, what are airborne diseases, what are waterborne diseases, right? So diphtheria, it is a contagious disease, no doubt. And diphtheria, for the in treatment of diphtheria, there is a vaccine, that is diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus, DPT vaccine, also known as triple antigen vaccine. So for because it can or it is useful in 3 types of diseases, namely diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus. So triple antigen vaccine. Okay, and it means here what are contagious diseases? Once list contagious diseases are mainly smallpox, viral disease, smallpox, chickenpox, also viral disease. Next to leprosy, bacterial disease, contagious, and by contact, spread from one person to another person by contact. Okay, leprosy, bacterial disease, it is also contagious. Next to diphtheria, measles, contagious. Okay, so here DPT, triple vaccine or triple antigen vaccine. So vaccines mainly for particularly different types of main diseases, vaccines for which disease? So here BCG vaccine. BCG vaccine is a vaccine for TB or tuberculosis in the early stage of the life or in the early stage of the birth. BCG vaccine, Bacillus curein and Galmati. Bacillus curein and Galmati, and scientist names. Means TB, for the tuberculosis we are using a vaccine, namely BCG vaccine, and DPT vaccine, triple antigen vaccine for diphtheria, pertussis and tetanus, triple antigen vaccine. Next to polio vaccine, oral polio vaccine, and injection is also there per polio, and means for polio disease there is a vaccine, that is polio vaccine. Next to anthrax vaccine for anthrax disease, anthrax vaccine, rabies vaccine for rabies diseases. There are different types of diseases, particularly for tetanus. There is a vaccine also called anti-tetanus vaccine, ATV or anti-tetanus vaccine for tetanus. Important to vaccines related to some diseases. And one more important to vaccine, that is for diarrhea, that is Rotavac. It is a vaccine for diarrhea. And next to vaccine, Sanvac vaccine, that is for hepatitis B. These are the important to vaccines, important to for examination point of view. And Sanvac vaccine, it is discovered by Shanta Biotech which is located in Hyderabad. So world's first institute or organization which discovered the vaccine for hepatitis B, that is Xantabiotic. Vaccine name is Sanvac. Next bacterial disease, pertussis, also called whooping cough. Whooping cough, and caused by a bacterium namely Bordetella pertussis. Bordetella pertussis. Bordetella pertussis. And the main important characteristic feature of this disease is heavy cough. During coughing time, hoof like sound, hence it is called whooping cough. And pertussis, generally throat region is severely affected. Next bacterial disease, tetanus, also known as jaw-lock disease. Jaw-lock disease or lockwood jaw disease, because in this disease jaws are come together, or jaws are tight or stiff, hence it is called jaw-lock disease or lockwood jaw disease, caused by a bacterium namely Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani. Next bacterial disease, meningitis. Meningitis, caused by Neisseria meningitis. Neisseria meningitis. Neisseria meningitis. Meningitis. So basically, what are the meninges? Meninges are the layers of the brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord are covered by both the important neural parts or central nervous system parts, which are surrounded by three membranes, namely outer dura mater, middle arachnoid matter, and inner pia mater. So these are generally referred as meninges. Brain meninges called cranial meninges, and in the spinal cord same three meninges or three layers are present to, called spinal meninges. Meninges nothing but layers. And here meningitis, it is by a bacteria namely Neisseria meningitis, and means in the layers of brain and spinal cord, inflammation takes place, that leads to swollen phenomena and abnormal or inactive functioning of the brain, hence it is called meningitis. Bacterial disease, no doubt. So in the previous exercise constable examination, there is a question, which one of the following disease is not a viral disease? So different types of diseases are there, like dengue, chikungunya and Zika, but also for another option, that is meningitis. Meningitis, it is a bacterial disease. And last, another important bacterial disease, that is anthrax, caused by Bacillus anthrax. Caused by Bacillus anthrax, no doubt, bacterial disease. And this disease, it is common in cattle, other animals, and this disease may spread from cattle to human beings. And vaccine for anthrax was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur, who is known as father of microbiology. Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur discovered vaccine for anthrax. So particularly, we have to concentrate on some important points regarding to bacterial disease, like BCG is the vaccine for which disease? That is, BCG is a vaccine for tuberculosis, and typhoid is confined by which test? Typhoid is confined by Vidal test. And next to in particularly in plague disease is also called Black Death disease. So different types of questions in previous examinations, and particularly leprosy. Leprosy, it is the degeneration or damage of the tissue or organ and there is no sense of touch. Another important characteristic feature, no sense of touch. And similarly, acid rains, when we have to concentrate on ecology, acid rains causes stone leprosy, nothing but damage of or degeneration of the stone layer, which leads to corrosion of buildings or monuments, the loss of beauty, particularly for example Taj Mahal. Like that, here in leprosy also, particularly damage of the tissue or degeneration of the tissue.